This webinar is in podcast form for your convenience. Hey, this is Glendon, and this is the first session of HustleNomics. Now, you're going, what is HustleNomics? What exactly is that about? HustleNomics is something that I have enjoyed since pretty much 2010. After I came out of the storage auction business and I started writing, I did really well with my first book. And then I added webinars and consulting. And then I wrote more books. Then I started making money from YouTube. And then I started making money from Kindle. And then I was making money from CreateSpace all along. And I was selling from my blog. I didn't have one stream of income. I had several streams of income. The way that I am looking at the future, that will be the norm, not atypical. You've heard me talk about Airbnb. I actually helped someone set that up. And there are many people who still do not know about Airbnb, which means that if you have a house, apartment, condo, you can rent it out as if you were a hotel. There are people who are making a living from doing that. This is part of the new economy and things that are coming our way. Now, instead of letting it happen haphazardly, because that's pretty much what happened with me. I was like, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. There was really no major structure like there is now. The structure is totally different. And I'm intentionally looking to create what I call micro businesses. And a micro business can earn anywhere from $500 a month. Let's just take it down. It could even be $50 a month, or it could be $5,000 a month. The thing is, you want to orientate your mind on income streams and freedom versus working per hour for money. You want to set off as many situations where you're getting paid whether you're actively working that gig or not. That's one of the reasons I love Kindle, Amazon, because I did a big pullback of a lot of my products because things were changing. There was flux. There was some things I didn't like. And instead of just saying, I don't like this, I took action. And that led me to audiobooks, which will be a very big part of what I will do in the future. Going forward, HustleNomics is going to be a mental orientation for you on how you can seize opportunity. Because the thing is, there are many of you, you're all over the country. Some of you are in other parts of the world. And the opportunities are rich. But due to training, due to narratives, things that were discussed earlier in the Hustler Mindset Project, people are conditioned to earn money in only one way. You go out, you get a job. You work X amount of hours, and every week or every 2 weeks, you get a paycheck. That's a very hard thing to break away from. I struggled with it for 3 years. With the new economy, you're going to get paid for value versus per hour. Essentially, if you can offer $2,000 worth of value by, say, giving a speech in 1 or maybe 2 hours, that's what you'll earn. And you have to think about it like that. Now, why am I doing this? You watch the YouTube videos. I have spoke of the new economy so many times. We're going through a huge technological shift. There are many, many things that are happening. Information disruption, like Airbnb. They're disrupting the hotel industry. They've actually have gone through lawsuits from hotels saying that, hey, they're a hotel and they should be under these regulations. Many, many things are happening. And before you say, well, hey, that's wrong, I want you to understand, PayPal went through the very same battles when they were starting. They went through the same exact thing. So if you look at them today, they weathered the storm. Airbnb is going to weather the storm. There are companies where you can rent a car per minute, hour, whatever. There are people who are like doing concierge for the day. So you could take some of these ideas and create your own income stream. Because one thing that we're going to do is have marketing courses. Anyone can have an ideal. Ideals are plentiful. The big part of making an ideal into reality is execution. It's actually getting the thing off the ground, getting it started, and moving forward with it. So a big part of that's going to be execution. It's going to be marketing. It's going to be positioning. There are so many things that you can do now that you couldn't do 5 years ago, that you couldn't do 2 years ago. Maybe you couldn't do a year ago because of technology. Like the company that I'm using to host and deliver my audiobooks, Ribbon. Awesome. There's other things. I was in a friend's restaurant the other day, and she used to have a merchant account. She replaced her merchant account with Square. Really cool little kiosk. And I just looked at that. She went from a merchant account to Square. Understand, when this level of disruption happens, this is opportunity. And the reason I'm doing this for Sparta and anyone else that comes in after the fact is this big shift is going to catch many people flat-footed. I'm already seeing it. I've taken to watching the daily news, and it's just depressing thing after depressing thing. You have people doing these unspeakable and horrible crimes because they feel that is the only way that they can make money, and it's just simply not true. They have a huge information gap, and even if presented with the information, they have another gap, a faith gap, a self-esteem gap. There's so many things wrong with people in terms of how they relate to the world and what they think opportunities exist, that it's staggering to think what will turn it around, because people frequently email me and say, look, why don't you take X amount of people and teach them what you know? And someone will even say to go out and spend my money to buy products for these people. I've done things like that, and I've realized that only those who have reached a level where it's time to move can be helped. You can have all the information in the world. You can have resources. And unless you are prepared to take action with those things, it's like you don't even have them. I see this future, and I see a very bright future for those who are prepared. You're going to have 3 classes of people. You're going to have extremely poor people. These are going to be people who barely have the things they need. They're going to be struggling. It's going to be the service class. These are going to be the waiters, the lower level healthcare workers. These are going to be people under $20 an hour. They're going to be between 20 and minimum wage. That's where they're going to be. Then you're going to have another class of people, the creative class, entrepreneurs. This will be the disruptive class. These will be people that were doing things that you cannot outsource. You cannot outsource creativity. You cannot outsource genius. You cannot outsource artistic bent. And then there's going to be a smaller group, and it'll be the mega wealthy. You'll have trillionaires. We already have a lot of billionaires. You're going to have trillionaires. You're going to have people worth trillions of dollars. You're going to have families that will have more money than some countries. It's coming, because if you understand how money works, if you already have 10 billion in net worth and assets today, it's easier for you to leverage that into 20 billion or 30 billion in a few years than it is to start from nothing to make 1 million, because money draws money. So you're going to have those 3 classes of people, and you've got a choice, because if you're a person that doesn't like to learn, if you're a person that doesn't learn well, if you're a person that doesn't learn quickly, you're going to be in that service class. I don't care what kind of degree you presently have, because it's not going to be enough. You will have to teach yourself how to learn if you don't know. And I can speak from experience that I went through that process. And that's why I continue to read, and that's why I continue to stuff my brain with as much knowledge as possible, because I made mistakes 2009 up to now with Conundrum Publishing, I made massive mistakes. Would not change a thing, because from those mistakes I learned a lot, which set the stage for better and bigger businesses. Understand, you will have to take some chances. Understand that what you think may be appropriate for you, your friends, your family, co-workers may think you're absolutely nuts. They may think you're insane because they're still caught up in the I work for dollars paradigm. And there's nothing other than a life-altering moment that's going to shape that belief system. Now, if you go out and become like fantastically successful, sure, that will shake that belief system because you are actual proof. But until you get really successful, they're not going to listen to you. So these are some of the steps that you should be starting to take. Number one, become an information junkie. Spend X amount of hours per week learning new stuff. I don't care if it's a foreign language. I don't care if it's math. I don't care if it's statistics. You do not have to be passionate about something to become really good at it. You have to be determined to become good at it. Now, the future is extremely bright for the prepared. There will be products, services, and technology that you can leverage that doesn't exist yet. Don't be afraid of the future. Now, I want you to think about businesses versus a business. Part of the American culture is I built it, I own it, it's mine. In the new collaborative world, that's going to be very dangerous because the people who want what you have are banding together. And it's creating this energy. People are creating different groups. They're creating, like, take Facebook and give you a prime example of what's going on. You have Craigslist, which for an extremely long time was a really robust website. Craigslist has lost a step. And I realized it this last few months when I started putting more stuff up there. I didn't realize it because I was only listing brand name, highly desirable items. So I didn't really see it. Craigslist used to work for virtually anything. It would sell. You would get information, but Craigslist has lost a step. Now, no one's talking about it except for a few people, but the last few big sales that I've made, they've come from Facebook connections. There are tons of Facebook groups. People are creating resale groups. And I'm a member of 3, and I was talking about this in the Hustler Mindset. The smaller group does better in terms of sales than the larger group because the larger groups mimic Craigslist. If you do not get in there and post on time, it's the same result as Craigslist. And part of the new economy and part of the HustleNomics is you will join those groups, but you will have your own group and you will slowly add your tribe. Because I'll give you an example. I targeted 33 Facebook friends and I got a 42% response, and I made 2 sales generating $500. Took me about an hour. And the thing is, it's a slow process, but from the way that I'm looking at how Facebook works, how if you approach people the wrong way, because before I started doing this, someone did a mass email and attached like 300 people to it in the Facebook, or 200. It was a lot of people, and people were leaving the conversation because when you send out those, every time someone responds or answers, it generates all of these emails. So your inbox or your phone is just going ding, ding, ding. That is a nuisance. What I did when I reached out to these people is I took the time, I created an email, and I copied and pasted. And I had to really adjust it. And I had to, because when I was emailing guys, I was like, hey, bruh or dude. And when I was emailing women, I had to put that in there. And I had to copy, paste, delete, write. And I had to go slow because, if you start trucking, you're going to mess up. And I got a really good response rate, but it was time consuming. But I'm not doing this just to do it for now. I'm doing this to build later, because in my mind, by starting now, being consistent and working on this time next year, I can have a tribe of, say, 1,000 people or maybe 1,500. And when I put something in my tribe on my Facebook sales group, it's just going to have a lot more impact. I would not leave the other sales groups, but you have to build your own infrastructure. And another reason for doing this is as you build these micro businesses, you have a tribe to speak to, because this is the thing that I've learned. If a person will buy one thing from you, they'll buy something else, and they'll buy something else, and they'll buy something else. As long as you're treating them right and trust is gained, you've got a customer for life. So you can figure out all of these things that you can do to push to your tribe, but you have to build your tribe the correct way. I am working on trying to do it faster and having the same effect. And that's another part of HustleNomics and Resellology, because many of these things that we're using, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, there's so many different sites. They didn't exist when I was in the storage auction business, or they were just coming online in 2009 when I was exiting the storage auction business. These tools are phenomenal, used correctly, because, as I said before, don't think business, think businesses. And I give you just a quick example. If you could create 10 businesses and each business takes you 2 to 10 hours a week, let's just cut it at 4 hours a week. 10 businesses, right? 4 hours a week per business. That's a regular 40-hour week. But if you understand how your stock portfolio or your RA should work, you need to be diversified. You will have, now the thing is, let's just keep it like these 10 businesses, they earn $100 a week. 10 businesses, 4 hours, that's $25 per hour. You will have some of those businesses that will do 200. You'll have some that will do 300. But because you're dollar cost averaging your time and efforts and not killing yourself, and it also keeps you fresh because you're not just going dull on one thing. So you have these 10 businesses that can create you $1,000 a week, or just say, because some are going to do better than others, let's just say $1,500 a week. That's $6,000 a month. That's $72,000 per year. Since you're self-employed and to use Apple and you get yourself a good accountant, you're going to pay around 22% in taxes. So you do the math. You get to keep more money. You have more freedom. And by creating businesses, and this is something that we will talk about much later in Hustle You, is you be able to fund part of your life using your business and maintain a legal tax advantage. Like, say, really a quick one. Say you're in the position to pay cash for a vehicle. You can buy that vehicle, put it in the name of your business, and you will have depreciation, because you can't do both, well, the depreciation and the fuel thing. So if you have a vehicle that you cannot put in the company name, you get to do the mileage, and you have to file every quarter. So that's just one little thing that puts more money in your pocket. And as you create these businesses, you're going to meet people. You're going to have new experiences, and it's going to give you insights and opportunities and information to other businesses, to other opportunities, to other things that are going on in the world. Because I found out about Ribbon from reading some stuff about Vidcaster, which is what I use to host the Hustler Mindset Project. By being in that space and looking for these opportunities, you will find new technology. Don't be afraid to be an early adopter, because the thing is, I was able to actually have a phone conversation with the CEO of Vidcaster because I came in so early. If I really needed to talk to him, I could get to him because we had that conversation. And a few weeks ago, he linked up with me on LinkedIn. So I'm on his radar. And that's one of the things about the new economy. You can get in when stuff is still a buy, when it's still growing. You want to get in when it's growing and learn it, because as you go through this process of learning, unlearning, adapting new technology, you are going to rewire your brain. You're going to become smarter. You're going to make better decisions, and you'll be able to take advantages of opportunities that other people cannot. That will be huge in the new economy. So remember, think businesses, not a business. Now, I want you to think about, you've got these 10 businesses, and say one just blows up. Conventional thinking would be drop the other ones and just knock that one out the park. Actually, I'm going to tell you to do the converse. If it blows up, it's blowing up for a reason. There's something special about it. What you do is put in controls. If controls could be hiring someone to run it while you work on these other ones, because you do not want to disrupt your 40-hour week, because that's one thing that I'm trying to whittle my work week down to. 40 hours, 45 hours max, and that's it. Because I reached the point of diminishing returns because I was working more. I was doing stuff because I was doing many things that were unproductive. One of them being email. Email can be extremely unproductive because email does not make you money. And when I focus on things that make money, I make money. And when I focus on things that don't make money, I end up chasing my tail. So you have to be really accountable for your time. That's one of the reasons it's like, okay, I got 40 hours, 45 hours. I have to be really judicious with my time. That's one of the reasons that I'm getting rid of stuff. And we're going to go through all of this stuff in HustleNomics. Now, this is going to be something that's going to be a very core part of HustleNomics. You've heard the expression, a jack of all trades, but master of none. That will be part of the equation for the new economy. There's one or two things you need to become really good at. As Cal Newport says in this book, so good they can't ignore you. That's the title of the book. One or two. But to add a few more wrinkles, you need to be good enough to get this other stuff going. Because I want you to think, if you have these 10 income streams and you've got one thing that you're just hammering, either you're doing it or you have a control in place where someone else is doing it and you're kicking back, can you imagine your life that you have that kind of freedom and control? Also, by becoming good at something, I don't care what it is, you become a master. You become an authority. You become the go-to guy. You can get jobs. I didn't bring it up. Conundrum Media actually has a new part where I help people do YouTube videos and set up podcasts. Because many people can figure this stuff out, but if you go back to the $100 startup, and there's this line in there where people don't want you to teach them how to fish. They want you to cook the fish, bring it out, put it on a plate, and say, here's dinner. That's what they want, because people do not have freedom. I grew up in a time when people used to sit on the front porch and rock or just watch the life go by, just chill. We don't live in that type of world anymore. People are so stressed that every moment has to count for something, and especially if they have a family. If you know anyone that has small kids, frequently they're running ragged. They're over here, they're over there. Understand, these are lifestyle choices. They don't have to do it, but that's part of being a good parent in today's world, that you are running yourself ragged. You don't have to. But by becoming really good at a few things and becoming good enough at some others, you have yourself a lot of opportunity, because as you become really good at one thing or two things, then you start working on the other stuff. Over a period of time, you become very proficient in everything. But the key is time. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort. That is the thing. And HustleNomics is about recognizing opportunity and exploiting it for personal gain. It could be anything. Your Aunt Sally could be like moving out of town, and she's got to go next week, and she has no one to handle her affairs. Since you are now a hustler with extra income streams, you can say, look, let's do this. What do you need done? Have an honest conversation. Do not go, I'll do it for free. That is one of the things that people do because they want people to like them. That's why they do it, because they want people to like them. When really, you should really be respected. You can go, Aunt Sally, look, I have this company. If you want to sell some stuff, what I can do is take pictures, and we can make decisions on what you want to sell while you're there. I'll handle it. I'm family. And that's an opportunity that you can do by having an honest conversation and saying that you will do it for a fee. You will not do it for peanuts. You will not do it for a pittance. If she doesn't go for the ideal, then you move on to something else. But at least you put it out there. This is one of the things that I see with people all the time, because it's either a friend or family. They think they should do it for free or little or nothing. And frequently you have people doing work that if they had to hire someone, they would be paying $20 to $50 an hour. Or they'll be paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month for that same service that you're doing for free to be a good person. If you can do it and it doesn't hurt you, that's one thing. But to do it and to be starving or to be in a bad situation or to be hurt because you want to be liked is not a good idea. But this is like the first session of HustleNomics. This is to prepare you for what's to come. The sessions are going to be a little bit different than Hustle U. During the Hustle U experience, which is still going on, I thought I was putting out information really slowly, and it was still a little bit overwhelming because the information itself was not that much. But when you stack it on, I'm in school, I have a family, I have these responsibilities, I have these obligations, it was a little bit much. So essentially, HustleNomics, I'm just going to put it out there, and it'll be like cafeteria style. You can come and get it when you want to. And I'm not going to do webinars every week. I may do one major big webinar per month because it's the summer. Let's just be honest. It's the summer. I know what's going to happen. I've done this long enough to realize the attendance drops off tremendously during the summer. So there's no point in having a weekly webinar. My goal is to make this as podcast friendly, where you can just press play and learn as possible, and then do more presentations during the webinar and give people plenty of time to get ready for it. Now, there will be a book about this. You're going to get the book at the same time you get the information. It's just going to be piece by piece, the same way that I did the Journey to Storage Auction Success. That was pretty cool. I liked it because you're getting information that you can use, and there's going to be a glossary, and there's going to be a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot of stuff. So just be prepared, and remember, it's the summer. This is the time to prepare for the fall. Yes, you can make money. Yes, you can go to garage sales. But if you do not start preparing, there's probably going to be a mini audio book, which as a member of the Hustler Mindset, you will get as a part of your membership. But it's going to be just some things that you can do to get ready for the fall. Things you haven't thought of. Because this would be my, 12th season. And things have changed, but not remarkably. There's still, the buying may start a week or two early or a week or two later because of different school schedules. But it's the same thing. Summer, things slow down, yard sales happen, people start going to garage sales and estate sales. Then the minute the kids go back to school, online sales go up. And I understand online sales never really stop. No sales really stop. But things get better from September to May. That's just the way it is. It hasn't changed. Don't know if it's ever going to change. And you have to take advantage of that situation. All right, this is Glendon, and I will see you on the good side.